Is Carlo Ancelotti one of the greatest football coaches of all time, or just a fortunate collector of trophies? His record is legendary, yet debates around his legacy never end. I mean, this man has accomplished what most can't even imagine. He's got more Champions League titles than anyone, a record number of UEFA Super Cups, and enough FIFA Club World Cups to fill a trophy room. He's earned his spot among football's true legends. But who is the man behind these jaw-dropping stats? What keeps him going? And why, with a list of achievements this long, do some still doubt him? This is the story of a coach who's done it all, and yet, somehow, still has everything to prove. When we talk about football's all-time coaching greats, most jump to either the god, Sir Alex Ferguson, or the football philosopher, Pep Guardiola. And hey, why wouldn't they? These two have redefined greatness. Sir Alex Ferguson built an empire over decades with Manchester United. He won 13 Premier League titles, 2 Champions Leagues, and countless other trophies. He was known as the one with the ability to rebuild and adapt, creating multiple title-winning teams across eras. On the other end there is the tactical mastermind Pep Guardiola, who revolutionized the game itself. I mean, from the infamous tiki-taka at Barcelona to his current dominance with Manchester City, Guardiola's teams play a brand of football that's as much art as it is sport. Then there's Ancelotti, the one often overlooked in the GOAT conversation. But here's the thing, he holds records even the god and the philosopher don't. And not just any records. This man is football's ultimate trophy collector. He's the only coach in history to win league titles in all of Europe's top 5 leagues, Serie A, Premier League, Ligue 1, Bundesliga, and of course La Liga. From Juventus to AC Milan, then across England, France, Germany, and Spain, wherever Ancelotti went, the trophies followed. But he didn't just win trophies, he broke records. With 5 Champions League titles, more than any other coach, he's an undisputed king of Europe. Add to that the most UEFA Super Cups and the most FIFA Club World Cups, and you've got a legacy built on sheer dominance. But beyond team trophies, Ancelotti's individual awards are just as insane. I mean, he's been Coach of the Year across different leagues and snagged titles like IFFHS World's Best Club Coach and UEFA Men's Coach of the Year. In short, Ancelotti is in a league of his own, breaking records and collecting hardware like no other coach in the game. And he managed to do all of that despite having no discernible playing style. In contrast to Guardiola's intricate strategies or Klopp's relentless pressing, Ancelotti's style defies categorization. This guy has no signature playbook, just a chameleon-like flexibility, adjusting his approach based on his players' strengths. And that's exactly how he's kept winning. But before we dive into that, let's look at where it all began for the one man who would conquer all of football. Before he became one of the most decorated coaches in football history, Carlo Ancelotti's journey began as a scrappy midfielder with dreams as big as his work ethic. Born on the 10th of June, 1959, his football story kicked off in 1974 with Parma, where Ancelotti made his professional debut in Serie C at just 18. Under the watchful eye of Cesar Maldini, Carlo started making a name for himself, even nabbing a spot as an attacking midfielder due to his knack for scoring. This man was a beast, and it was his magic on the field in the 1978-79 season, especially his 2 clutch goals in the playoff against Triestina, that saw Parma get promoted to Serie B. At the time, Parma had its new hero, and the Italian football world had its rising star. By 1979, Carlo Ancelotti's rise in Italian football caught the attention of top clubs, but it was Roma who secured his signature. Under Nils Liedholm's guidance, Ancelotti made his Serie A debut, quickly showcasing his versatility in midfield. He played alongside legends like Falcao and Roberto Pruzzo, helping Roma win 4 Coppa Italia titles and, most notably, their second-ever Serie A title in 1983. However, Ancelotti's stellar career had a problem. The rising star was plagued by recurring knee injuries that threatened to derail his success. Despite the pain, he persevered, refusing to let his body limit his potential. His determination led to a leadership role, and in 1985, he was appointed Roma's captain. As captain, Ancelotti began to show glimpses of his coaching career to come as he mentored younger players like Giuseppe Giannini, continuing to influence Roma's success even as his body betrayed him. As time went on, Ancelotti's resilience was on full display as he helped Roma finish as Serie A runners-up in 1986, despite battling constant injuries. His contributions, both on and off the pitch, established him as one of Roma's all-time greats. But his Roma chapter was only the beginning. In 1987, Ancelotti joined AC Milan, where he'd be part of Arrigo Sacchi's legendary squad, and together, they changed football forever. Playing alongside icons like Paolo Maldini and Marco van Basten, he absorbed the art of high-press football, a lesson that stayed with him and would later shape his coaching. With Milan's stars and Sacchi's strategy, Ancelotti's own tactical legacy was beginning to take shape. And soon enough, Milan dominated, winning the Serie A in 1988 and back-to-back European Cups in 1989 and 1990. In fact, one of his defining moments came in the 1989 semi-final against Real Madrid, where he unleashed a stunning long-range strike in a 5-0 triumph that secured Milan's spot in the final. Even though injuries continued to haunt him, Ancelotti didn't give in. He returned to help Milan defend their European title in 1990 and celebrated a second Serie A title in the undefeated 1991-92 season under Fabio Capello. Sadly, his final act was bittersweet, as at 33, persistent knee issues forced him to retire. But in his last match, a 4-0 victory over Hellas Verona, Ancelotti gave the world a taste of who he was as he came on as a substitute and scored twice, leaving the fans with a memory that would linger. On an international level, Ancelotti also proudly represented Italy, earning his first cap in 1981 and helping Italy reach the semi-finals at Euro 1988. As with his club career, injuries cut his time with the national team short, but he still managed 26 appearances. And while his playing career was cut short, the grit, tactical intelligence, and sheer love for the game that defined Ancelotti as a player would soon drive him to become the tactical mastermind we know today. Because, as we all know, his legacy was only just beginning. After retiring from AC Milan in 1992, Ancelotti set his sights on coaching, initially learning under Arrigo Sacchi's Italian national team. Sacchi's influence, particularly his disciplined 4-4-2 and high-pressing approach, was strong in those early years, but it didn't take long for Ancelotti to develop his own philosophy, one that would prove to be more flexible and player-centered than anything he'd previously known. Starting in 1995 with Reggiana in Serie B, Ancelotti quickly demonstrated his potential. In his first season, he led the team to promotion to Serie A, marking the beginning of a managerial career filled with successes. This achievement earned him a position with Parma, where he managed players like keeper from hell, Gianluigi Buffon and Hernan Crespo, guiding the club to an impressive second-place finish in Serie A. However, his commitment to the 4-4-2 formation, a nod to his roots, began to show its limitations. Creative players like Gianfranco Zola felt restricted, and this experience taught Ancelotti the importance of adapting his approach to the talents of his squad. Something that would mark him forever. When he took charge of Juventus in 1999, he faced a pivotal challenge with stars like Zinedine Zidane in his ranks. Seeing that a rigid formation was constraining Zidane, Ancelotti moved to a 3-4-1-2 setup, allowing his playmaker more freedom on the field. Though he led Juventus to strong performances and Champions League finals, sadly the titles he wanted eluded him, pushing him to further refine his style and seek new ways to win, and win he did. Ancelotti's golden era began with AC Milan in 2001, where he found the freedom to experiment with a squad brimming with talent. It was at Milan that he made the now legendary decision to transform Andrea Pirlo into a deep-lying playmaker, an adaptation that brought Milan's midfield to life and showcased his tactical genius. Alongside greats like Paolo Maldini, Kaká, and Clarence Seedorf, Milan thrived, winning 2 Champions League titles, a Serie A title, and several other trophies. In the end, his adaptive style and tactical acumen cemented Milan as one of Europe's most formidable teams. But he wasn't done. In fact, he was just starting. With Milan's successes behind him, Ancelotti continued his journey across Europe, taking the helm at Chelsea, PSG, Bayern Munich, and Real Madrid, and bringing home trophies at each stop. At Chelsea, he clinched a Premier League title, at PSG, a League One title, at Bayern, a Bundesliga title, and at Real Madrid, he added a La Liga title and multiple Champions League victories. So, what makes Ancelotti the chameleon of football? How does he adapt to each team while keeping his success rate sky high? It's simple, really. Ancelotti's strength has always been in his personal touch. Dubbed the power of love, his coaching style emphasized treating players as family. This wasn't just tactics, it was a way of creating a bond that drives players to give their best, knowing they were respected. It's essentially the reason why stars like Ronaldo, Benzema, and Zlatan keep speaking of him with admiration. I mean, these guys absolutely loved him. Just look at how they interacted. In 2022, Ancelotti's legacy reached a new height when he became the first manager to win league titles in each of Europe's top 5 leagues. Holding the record for most Champions League titles as a manager, he showed an extraordinary ability to bring out the best in his teams. Returning to Real Madrid, Ancelotti sealed his legacy, wielding one last trick, a ruthless counter-attacking style that played perfectly to the strengths of Benzema and Vinicius Jr., essentially giving him his record 5th Champions League title and making him King of Europe. Unlike many top managers like Klopp, who rigidly adhere to a specific system, Ancelotti's approach centers around maximizing his players' potential, tailoring his tactics to suit their strengths, and fostering an environment where players feel empowered to perform. His calm demeanor, even in high-pressure situations, instilled stability and unity in his squads. I mean, just look at how his training sessions look like. In the end, Ancelotti's career is a masterclass in adaptability, empathy, and man management. He has proven that success in football isn't just about tactics, but about understanding people and building cohesive, purpose-driven teams. With a trophy cabinet that's unmatched and a reputation for leadership built on trust and respect, Carlo Ancelotti has secured his place as one of football's greatest managers. But why don't people see it that way? Well, the answer is quite simple. People often overlook Ancelotti's genius because his approach is subtle, lacking the bold, signature tactics of managers like Pep Guardiola or the intense charisma of Jose Mourinho. Ancelotti's adaptable style doesn't shout for attention, instead, it works behind the scenes, blending into each team's unique strengths. This flexibility, while immensely successful, sometimes looks like a lack of a defining style, leading critics to question his tactical identity. Not to mention, Ancelotti's low-key, respectful persona doesn't create the media spectacle that often accompanies other managers. While some leaders use fiery speeches or controversial tactics to dominate headlines, Ancelotti's calm, people-first approach is quiet and underrated. Fans and critics accustomed to high drama in football may miss the brilliance of his methods, equating quiet with uninspired. And the craziest part is his success might be his #1 problem, because his success has been spread across different clubs and countries rather than building an era-defining dynasty with one team, which often draws more admiration. In reality, Ancelotti's success across top leagues speaks to his adaptability and respect for players, making him a rare managerial icon who consistently wins without making everything about himself. But in football, the quietest victories are sometimes the least celebrated. Ancelotti isn't just a coach, he's a reminder that football isn't about strict systems or one-size-fits-all strategies. It's about the people, the players who make it beautiful. And Ancelotti knows just how to bring out that beauty. But what do you think? Is Carlo Ancelotti the ultimate chameleon of football, or does his quiet approach fall short of the true legends? Will he keep rewriting history, or is the clock ticking on his era of brilliance? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey through the mind of one of football's finest, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives and captivating stories from the beautiful game. Until next time, stay tuned, because the next coaching mastermind might just surprise us all. See you in the next video.